Hello everyone and welcome back to Next Gen Gaming SC. I'm your host Josh Schneider and we are back live from Greenville, South Carolina for the finals of the Planetary Qualifier at Borderlands Comics and Games. We have a Rey Tarkintown mirror match in the finals. Certainly a final matchup that most people would not have expected coming into today's tournament. We have Bradley Hill on the left and Joel Lee on the right. These two players did face off once today back in round 3 of Swiss, and Joel was able to win that match 2-0, and that was actually Bradley's only loss so far today. Bradley went 6-1 through the 7 rounds of Swiss, going into the top 8 as the 4th seed, and now winning in the quarterfinals and semifinals. Bradley 8-1 in 9 matches today. Joel 7-2. And I have a stat for you that is pretty unheard of in any trading card game tournament. In 7 rounds of Swiss, Joel was paired up against the mirror match Rey Tarkintown 5 times. There were 16 total Rey decks. Rey was the most represented deck in the field. So Joel faced 1/3 of the other Rey decks through the 7 rounds of Swiss, which is absolutely wild. And what's more spectacular is Joel was undefeated. He was 5-0 in the mirror match. Every one of Joel's wins in the Swiss rounds came against the mirror match. And that is what got him here into the top 8. And now he's got a chance to face off against the mirror one more time. To start things out here in Game 1, Bradley had the initiative, played R2-D2 in the ground arena. Joel followed up with Sabine into the ground arena. And then Bradley putting that experience token onto R2-D2 with the Rey action ability. R2-D2 becoming a 2-5 here in round 1. A very solid play for any Rey deck. Joel was able to claim the initiative. And now here with the first action in round 2, Joel is going to play the Stick Ladies, Village Protectors, down into the ground arena. And Bradley is going to put Rey right back to work. Another action ability used. R2-D2 gets another experience token, bringing his total stats up to 3-6. R2 a pretty big threat early in Game 1. Joel with a sneaky pass. And Bradley is going to attack into the Village Protectors with R2-D2. The shield token removed from the Village Protectors. 2 damage back onto R2. And Bradley sends the top card of his deck to the bottom with the on-attack ability. Now the action back over to Joel. Looks like he is going to use the epic action on Tarkintown. That's going to deal 3 damage to R2-D2. Bradley just claims the initiative, but Joel has set up a beautiful line of play to defeat R2-D2. Sabine attacking into R2 and defeating him with the on-attack ability. Of course, Sabine has the on-attack ability that allows her to deal 1 damage to the defender. And that was enough to defeat R2. Sabine stays on the board. What a fantastic play for Joel, taking care of the large R2-D2 and has complete control of the board here at the start of round 3. After what was a disappointing round 2 for Bradley here in this first game, let's see if he can build some board presence back up and try and shift the momentum back over to his side. He starts things out with Yoda into the ground arena. Bradley does still have 1 open resource, meaning that Rey could give Yoda an experience token. Force throw is also an option, with Bradley now having a force unit in play. And Joel is going to use the Rey action ability for the first time on his side of the table here in game one. Sabine getting an experience token, and Bradley going to use that extra resource to play force throw, forcing Joel to discard a card, and Joel just discards force throw, which only allows Bradley to deal 1 damage, and that's not enough to defeat either one of the units on Joel's side of the table. So 1 damage dealt to Sabine, and Joel comes right back across, and Sabine now having the experience token, 3 total power, is able to attack and deal 4 damage to Yoda. Yoda defeated, and Bradley in a spot where he feels he's got to clear that Sabine off the board, uses his own Tarkintown epic action. Sabine defeated. And then Joel attacks Bradley's base for 2 damage with the Village Protectors. The first base damage dealt here in game one. Bradley claims the initiative. And then Joel puts some pressure in the Space Arena as he plays Restored Arc. And as we go into round 4, once again, Joel, complete control of this board. Joel having the force throw in hand was so important when Bradley used the force throw against him, because only dealing 1 damage was crucial to keeping the units on the board, forcing Bradley to use that Tarkintown epic action last round. Joel trying to continue to stay 1 step ahead. Bradley does play a monstrous threat in the ground arena. Here's Poe Dameron. That could certainly turn things around in Bradley's favor. Now Joel has to tread in these waters carefully. Poe Dameron is a big-time threat that can create real problems real fast. Joel just going to use that Rey action ability, giving the Village Protectors an experience token. Village Protectors now a 3/3. And Bradley has claimed the initiative. And now the action back over to Joel. He is holding on to a Crate Dragon in hand. That'll be a big-time play coming later in this game. Both of these Rey decks using Crate Dragon as the big finisher. And here comes a Jedi lightsaber onto Village Protectors. Restored Art going into Bradley's base for 2. The Village Protectors, a 6/6 with the Jedi lightsaber, matching Poe Dameron's stats. Joel attacking into Poe, making the trade. Both units defeated. And once again, Joel has an answer for the threat that Bradley presents. Starting things out in this next round, Rey deployed with the first action of the round for Bradley. And Joel is going to do the same. Joel deploying Rey, and a quick answer from Bradley. There's Rivals Fall, defeating Joel's Rey. And now the action back over to Joel. He still has 6 open resources, but Rey was quickly defeated, and he will put Yoda into the ground arena. And Bradley uses Rey, attacks into Joel's base, 3 damage. The on-attack ability coming into effect. Rey getting an experience token. Now has 3 total power and 7 HP, so 3 damage to Joel's base. And Bradley able to restore 3 from his base. So 3 damage on Joel's base, 1 on Bradley's. Joel does still have 3 open resources. And he is going to play Force Throw. And he is going to Force Throw that Crate Dragon. Joel using Force Throw to choose himself. Discards Crate Dragon. 9 total damage dealt to Rey. That defeats Bradley's Rey. Bradley will retain the initiative. Joel attacking into Bradley's base with Restored Arc. 2 damage, restoring 1 from his base. And what a swingy turn that was. Both players able to take down the opposing Rey. And yet again, Joel with the board control. And here comes a very strong play for Bradley to start this round. Bradley playing Mace Windu. He ambushes and defeats Yoda. And since he defeated Yoda, Mace readies. So Mace ready in the ground arena. Still has 5 HP remaining, so a 5-5 ready to go. Now Bradley did have to use up all of his resources to make that play. But taking the Force unit off the board, certainly a good thing in case Joel were to have another Force Throw. And Joel is going to play quite a big threat of his own. Here comes Poe Dameron. And Bradley is going to attack Joel's base with Mace Windu. 5 damage to Joel's base. Damage count now, we've got 7 damage on Joel's base, 3 damage on Bradley's base. And now with the action back over to Joel, he does still have 1 ready resource. Joel did not resource a card this round, so still on 6 total resources. And he uses the Rey action ability, Restored Arc, getting an experience token. Bradley just claims the initiative, and Restored Arc going into Bradley's base for 3 damage, restoring 1 from Joel's base. And now we are all tied up in the damage count, 6 damage apiece on each base. We have had some great back and forth action in this first game. The momentum has seemed to be more on Joel's side of the table, as he has really been able to stay 1 step ahead in several moments of this game, and has been able to hold board control for the most part as well. Bradley does start out with the first action in this round. He is going to attack with Mace Windu. 5 damage into Joel's base, putting the damage total up to 11. And now the action back over to Joel. Joel really in the driver's seat at this point. He is showing a potential 11 damage between the 2 units on board. So Joel could shift it into a high gear here and try to race to the finish line. Poe Dameron, such a monstrous threat by himself, can deal 8 damage. And Joel is going to attack with Poe Dameron. No on-attack ability, so he is not discarding any cards for additional effects. Poe into Bradley's base for 6 damage, putting Joel 1 damage ahead in the race. Now the action back over to Bradley. Does he have a response for that Poe Dameron? Bradley going to play Kanan Jarrus, which will not immediately deal with the problem. And now Joel going to attack once again. Restored Arc, 3 damage to Bradley's base, restoring 1 from Joel's base. 15 points of damage on Bradley's base, just 10 on Joel's base, and now Bradley does have the next action. He's got 4 open resources, but again, not showing a response for that Poe Dameron that can quickly finish this game if left unchecked. Bradley is going to play Disabling Fang Fighter. That is going to defeat the experience token on Restored Art, bringing those stats back down to just 2-3. Joel still has all 7 resources open. Getting all of the damage in first. Bradley has just 1 resource remaining, so Joel has to feel pretty comfortable about Poe Dameron staying on the board another round, and Joel is going to put another great threat into the ground arena. K2SO. K2SO puts some more real pressure on even when he's defeated. Joel could deal another 3 damage to Bradley's base. So Bradley just claiming the initiative. Rey putting that experience token right back onto Restored Arc. And now Joel is going to decide to pass right there. We're going to move on to the next round. Joel now just 10 damage away from taking this first game in the finals of the Greenville Planetary Qualifier. Bradley does have the initiative. He will take the first action. Does he have a way to slow down the assault in the ground arena? He doesn't have a way to stop the ground arena, but he is going to play Redemption. Redemption can heal up to 8 total damage from any number of units and or bases. So he is going to heal 2 damage from Mace Windu and 5 damage from his base. Or excuse me, 6 damage from his base. So now Bradley's damage total on base back down to 9. Redemption, just 1 HP remaining. All that damage put on to Redemption. But now Joel has a green light in the ground arena. Poe Dameron, unless Bradley has a force throw and a card that costs 6 or more in hand, Poe Dameron is safe for at least 2 actions. So that probably means Joel plays the odds here, attacks with K2SO first, as K2SO could be defeated by either Kanan or Mace with 1 attack.
I'm going to go K2, this guy at the base.
And that is the line that Joel has chosen here. K2SO going into Bradley's base. 4 damage on, putting the total back up to 13. And now Joel just hopes to dodge a force throw, taking out Poe Dameron, and it looks like he has. Bradley is going to attack with Kanan Jarrus. 4 damage into Joel's base, forcing Joel to discard the top card of his deck. Bradley heals a total of 2 damage, 1 damage for each aspect on the card discarded. Sabine has 2 aspects, heroism and aggression. So Bradley's base back down to 11 damage, and the action back over to Joel with Poe Dameron ready to get right back into this fight. Joel priming that Poe Dameron. I think the thing he's deciding here is, does he discard and deal extra damage? And it looks like that is what he's going to do. The on-attack ability used for Joel. He discards Green Squadron A-Wing, and there is 8 massive damage into Bradley's base, putting the damage total up to 19. Bradley does respond with an attack with disabling Fang Fighter. 3 damage into Joel's base, putting the total up to 17. But now Joel has to figure he doesn't have force throw. He doesn't have a way to defeat Poe Dameron. Joel has just claimed the initiative, and Bradley does not have a way to answer Poe. So Joel having the initiative for the next round means he can just attack directly into Bradley's base with Poe using his first action, and that would finish the game. And that is going to do it. Joel remains undefeated here in the top cut as he takes a 1-game lead in the finals of the Greenville Planetary Qualifier. We are set for Game 2 of the final match here at the Greenville Planetary Qualifier. Bradley Hill versus Joel Lee in the Rey Tarkintown mirror match. Joel was able to take the first game. We were treated to a fantastic game to open things up here in the finals. Joel now just 1 win away from being crowned the champion. And this is not the start that Bradley was looking for here in Game 2. After choosing to mulligan his opening hand, he draws into a hand with no play on the first turn and just has to claim the initiative. Joel plays Restored Arc in the Space Arena, and Bradley behind early. As we get things kicked off in round 2, Bradley playing Yoda into the ground arena. And Joel is going to take advantage of Restored Arc. 2 damage to Bradley's base. Bradley retains the initiative, and here comes another copy of Yoda, this time on Joel's side of the table. We now have an overwhelming presence of the Force in the ground arena, as the 2 old masters will stand off. Bradley will be able to kick things off here in round 3, having the initiative once again behind early on the board. Joel made a great play with Tarkintown and Sabine early in Game 1 to take control of the board, and this time Bradley falling behind on the board due to that opening hand with no play to make in the first round. Bradley does start things out with Yoda on Yoda. Yoda attacks Yoda both sides of the table, so both players trading an attack with Yoda into Yoda. They are both defeated. Both players draw 1 card. Bradley was able to restore the 2 damage on his base. And now we have K2SO down into the ground arena for Bradley. Joel responds with Restored Arc, another 2 damage to Bradley's base, putting that damage back on. And here comes Kanan Jarrus into the ground arena for Joel right after Bradley claims the initiative. While K2SO is a fantastic unit, he is a bit outclassed in this situation. With that 5 HP that Kanan Jarrus has, Kanan could attack into K2SO, defeat K2SO, and stay on the board. But Bradley has the answer. Bradley plays takedown, defeats Kanan Jarrus, and he opens things right back up in the ground arena. And now Joel prepares to take his first action of the round. And we are going to see the Village Protectors coming down into the ground arena. The Stick Ladies have been fantastic for Joel throughout all 3 of his matches so far here in the top cut. The Village Protectors will soak up some more damage as K2SO attacks into the Protectors, removing the shield token. K2SO takes 2 damage back, and Restored Arc going into Bradley's base for another 2 damage. And Bradley plays another unit in the ground arena, R2-D2, putting the top card of his deck onto the bottom. And Joel will put some more pressure on in the space arena as he plays Green Squadron A-Wing. Bradley claims the initiative, and Joel is going to use the epic action on Tarkintown to deal 3 damage and defeat K2SO. With the when defeated trigger, Bradley has Joel discard a card, Joel discarding Force Throw. And for the second straight game, the Village Protectors have helped Joel set up some very nice removal with Tarkintown. Starting round 5, Joel has a very large presence on the board as he's got A-Wing and Restored Arc in the space arena, Village Protectors in the ground arena. And for the second straight game to start round 5, Bradley is going to deploy Rey with his first action. And this time around, Joel has the Rivals Fall. Joel playing Rivals Fall defeats Rey. We saw Bradley do that to Joel in the first game, and now Joel has returned the favor here in the second game. Bradley attacks into the Village Protectors with R2-D2. 2 damage back onto R2 and 1 damage onto the Village Protectors. Bradley is going to put that top card of his deck onto the bottom, searching for some specific cards at this point. And now the action back over to Joel. Joel does not have any ready resources left available, but he does have 3 ready units, and he has yet to deploy Rey. Now keep in mind, Bradley has all of his resources open, so he could be holding a Rivals Fall as well. Joel deploying Rey, and there's another Rivals Fall here in this round. Bradley, for the second straight game, he has Rivals Fall ready to go as soon as Rey is deployed. Joel will take the next action, attacking with Village Protector, defeating R2-D2, both units defeated. Bradley just claims the initiative, and then Joel is going to attack into Bradley's base for a total of 5 damage between Restored Arc and Green Squadron A-Wing. So just like that, 9 damage on Bradley's base. Both players quickly defeating Rey when she was deployed. Not wanting to deal with Rey getting any momentum going. And to start this round, here comes Luke Skywalker. The first time we've seen him in this finals match. He defeats Green Squadron A-Wing off of the win plate ability. And then Joel has a quick response for Luke Skywalker with Fell the Dragon. Fell the Dragon defeats Luke. And just like that, Bradley, once again, no units on his board. Joel uses the action ability on Rey to give Restored Arc an experience token. Hits Bradley's base for another 3 damage and plays Sabine in the ground arena. And Joel just continues the trend that we have seen in this match, with Joel having that great board presence and holding on to the board control. Bradley will once again take the first action, and he is going to try and slow things down for Joel. He plays Obi-Wan Kenobi in the ground arena. First time we've seen Obi-Wan in this match as well. Bradley desperately trying to get the momentum back onto his side of the table, but it seems like every time he makes a good play, Joel has a response. And now we are going to see Sabine attack into Obi-Wan Kenobi. Joel using the on-attack ability that Sabine had to deal 1 damage to Bradley's base, 2 damage to Obi-Wan. Once the damage resolves, Sabine defeated, and Bradley is going to play Force Throw, and for the second time in this match, he has chosen Joel, and Joel has a 1-cost card in hand, so only 1 damage dealt to Restored Arc. Restored Arc able to deal another 3 damage to Bradley's base, and now we see Bradley use that epic action on Tarkintown to deal the final 3 damage needed to defeat Restored Arc. And Bradley has now cleared the board on Joel's side. But Joel responds with takedown to defeat Obi-Wan Kenobi. Bradley just claims the initiative after Obi-Wan was defeated. And then Joel smuggles tech into play, which is certainly going to open up some options as every one of Joel's resources now has smuggle. Smuggle allows a resource to be played as if it were a card in your hand, so Joel's hand essentially goes from 1 to 10 with tech being in play. Bradley has the first action, and here comes Crate Dragon. We talked about Crate Dragon being the big finisher for these 2 decks. We see Crate Dragon for the first time in this match. Will it be enough to help Bradley turn things around here in Game 2 and potentially force a Game 3? Now the action back over to Joel. He's going to take a look through his resources, see if he potentially has an answer to Bradley's Crate Dragon. And Joel is going to attack with tech, hitting Bradley's base for another 2 damage, putting the damage total up to 18. Bradley claims the initiative, and Joel's going to play his own Crate Dragon. That is going to allow Bradley to deal 9 damage
I didn't like that. I didn't think you were going to do that.
to either Joel's Crate Dragon tech or Joel's base. Bradley dealing that damage to tech, as tech just opened up way too many possibilities for Joel. So Bradley takes him off the board. And to start things out here in this next round, the only units on board, it's 2 Crate Dragons. But Bradley says not for long. He's going to play Fell the Dragon, defeating Joel's Crate Dragon. Now Joel will get to deal 4 damage. He is going to deal 4 damage to Bradley's base. The base damage total now up to 22 for Bradley. Just 3 HP remaining. What a game and what a match so far. Bradley trying his best to claw back into this one. Joel will take the next action, and he is still staring down that massive Crate Dragon in Bradley's ground arena. But now Joel just has to find a way to deal 3 more damage. He's going to play Green Squadron A-Wing in the space arena. That would be enough to finish this game if Joel can get 1 attack in with the A-Wing. Bradley does deal 2 damage to Joel's base with the Crate Dragon trigger. But Bradley just has to claim the initiative because he does not have an answer in his hand for the Green Squadron A-Wing. Bradley's only hope is to draw a response to the space arena. And now Joel has free reign to take some more actions. Joel is going to play tech from his hand, leaving still 4 open resources. So Joel could still smuggle in another card. He could also use the Rey action ability to put an experience token on either one of his units. Bradley does deal another 3 damage to Joel's base off of the Crate Dragon trigger. And now Joel is going to use the Rey action ability, putting an experience token onto Green Squadron A-Wing. The Green Squadron A-Wing can now attack for a total of 4 damage. Joel smuggles R2-D2 into play. Another damage dealt to Joel's base off of the Crate Dragon trigger. Joel puts the top card of his deck onto the bottom. Bradley searching for answers. He does not find it. And Joel Lee is your champion. The Greenville Planetary Qualifier champion, Joel Lee, undefeated here in the top cut. What a run. And he locks a spot into day 2 of the Galactic Championship. Thank you so much to everyone for tuning in to this tournament coverage from the Greenville Planetary Qualifier. And thank you to Borderlands Comics and Games for doing a fantastic job both hosting and running this event. May the Force be with you, and until next time, take care.